Every year, thousands of individuals make the difficult decision to leave Scientology. The exact numbers are shrouded in secrecy, but estimates suggest a significant exodus, with some years seeing more departures than new recruits. This raises a crucial question: what compels so many to abandon a belief system they once held dear? The answer, as many former Scientologists will attest, is complex and often deeply personal. It's a journey fraught with emotional turmoil, social isolation, and the daunting task of rebuilding one's life outside the confines of a highly structured and controlling environment. Leaving any tightly knit community can be challenging, but separating from a high-control group like Scientology presents unique hurdles. Imagine a life where your beliefs, relationships, and even your thoughts have been carefully curated and controlled. Now imagine stepping outside that bubble, questioning everything you've been taught, and facing the uncertainty of the unknown. This is the reality for countless former Scientologists who have made the courageous decision to forge their own paths. The process can be isolating, disorienting, and emotionally draining, but it is often the first step towards reclaiming personal autonomy and living a life true to oneself.
My own journey out of Scientology was a gradual awakening. It wasn't a sudden epiphany, but rather a slow, almost imperceptible shift in my perception of reality. It began with small seeds of doubt, tiny cracks in the facade that I had built around my beliefs. Whispers of inconsistencies within the doctrine that I couldn't ignore started to echo louder in my mind. I found myself questioning the very foundations of what I had been taught. These doubts grew over time, fueled by personal experiences and observations that clashed with the Church's teachings. Each encounter, each moment of dissonance, added another layer to my growing skepticism. The decision to leave wasn't easy. It was a slow and agonizing process, filled with internal conflict and the fear of losing everything I held dear: my community, my friends, even my family. The fear of isolation was paralyzing, and the thought of stepping into the unknown was terrifying. But the pull of truth and the yearning for intellectual freedom ultimately outweighed the fear, compelling me to take the first tentative steps outside the only world I had ever known. It was a journey fraught with emotional turmoil, but also one of self-discovery and liberation. Each step forward was a step toward reclaiming my own mind and my own life.
One of the most formidable obstacles facing those who leave Scientology is the policy of disconnection. This policy is not just a guideline but a strict mandate that the Church enforces with unwavering rigidity. This practice, strictly enforced by the Church, mandates that members sever all ties with anyone deemed suppressive, a term that can be applied to anyone who dares to criticize Scientology or its leadership. The label of suppressive person is a powerful tool used to silence dissent and maintain control. A label applied to anyone critical of Scientology or its leadership, it effectively ostracizes individuals from their social circles, making them outcasts in the eyes of those still within the Church. This means that individuals who leave often face the agonizing choice between their beliefs and their loved ones. The emotional toll is immense, as they are forced to weigh their personal convictions against the bonds of family and friendship. Parents are forced to choose between their children and their Church. The pain of such a decision is unimaginable. The Church's doctrine demands absolute loyalty, often at the expense of familial love and unity. Friendships dissolve under the weight of doctrinal pressure. Lifelong friends can become strangers overnight, as the Church's influence seeps into every aspect of personal relationships. This enforced separation is a cruel tool of control, designed to isolate dissenters and discourage others from questioning the Church's teachings. The isolation serves as a warning to those who might consider leaving. Designed to isolate dissenters and discourage others from questioning the Church's teachings, this policy ensures that the fear of losing loved ones keeps many from speaking out. The emotional and psychological impact is profound, leaving scars that can last a lifetime.
Section 5. Confronting the Shadows. Emotional Fallout. The emotional and psychological impact of leaving Scientology can be profound. Years of indoctrination and thought-stopping techniques can leave individuals struggling to trust their own judgment, plagued by self-doubt, and wrestling with complex emotions like shame, guilt, and anger. Many former members experience symptoms akin to post-traumatic stress disorder, haunted by the control they endured and the losses they suffered. Healing from these wounds takes time, support, and often professional help, as individuals piece together a new sense of self, free from the constraints of their former beliefs.
Section 6. Rebuilding trust, a fragile path. Leaving Scientology often means rebuilding one's life from the ground up. The social isolation imposed by disconnection can leave individuals feeling lost and alone, struggling to form new connections and rebuild trust. This process is further complicated by the lingering fear of retribution from the church, a fear that can cast a long shadow over personal and professional relationships. Yet despite these challenges, many former Scientologists find solace and strength in connecting with others who have shared similar experiences, forming new communities bound by empathy, understanding, and a shared desire for healing.
Section 7. Finding my voice, reclaiming agency. One of the most empowering aspects of leaving Scientology is the rediscovery of one's own voice. For years, members are discouraged from questioning doctrine, their thoughts and opinions carefully policed. Stepping outside this controlled environment can be both exhilarating and terrifying as individuals learn to think critically, form their own opinions, and articulate their newfound perspectives. This reclamation of agency extends to all areas of life, from personal choices to career paths, as former members embrace the freedom to shape their own destinies. Section 8. The joy of critical thinking. Leaving Scientology often unlocks a thirst for knowledge and a newfound appreciation for critical thinking. Freed from the constraints of a rigid belief system, former members can explore different philosophies, engage in open dialogue, and embrace the complexities of the world without fear of reprisal. This intellectual liberation can be both exhilarating and overwhelming, as individuals navigate a vast landscape of ideas, challenging their own assumptions and embracing the beauty of nuanced thought. Section 9. Embracing new perspectives. The world outside Scientology can seem daunting at first, filled with unfamiliar customs, beliefs, and perspectives. Yet for many former members, this exposure to diversity becomes a source of immense personal growth. They learn to appreciate different cultures, engage with diverse viewpoints, and challenge their own preconceived notions. This process of cultural immersion broadens horizons, fosters empathy, and allows individuals to see the world through a wider, more compassionate lens. Section 10. A life beyond belief. Leaving Scientology doesn't necessarily equate to abandoning spirituality altogether. Many former members find solace and meaning in other faith traditions, exploring different spiritual practices that resonate with their personal values and beliefs. Others embrace secular humanism, finding purpose in ethical living, community involvement, and the pursuit of knowledge. The journey beyond Scientology is as diverse as the individuals who embark upon it, a testament to the human spirit's capacity for growth, adaptation, and the pursuit of meaning. Section 11. Hope springs eternal. In the quiet moments of dawn, as the first light breaks through the darkness, we are reminded that every day is a new beginning, a fresh start filled with endless possibilities. The decision to leave Scientology is never easy, but it is ultimately an act of courage and self-preservation. It is a journey that begins with a single step, often taken with a heavy heart but a determined spirit. While the challenges are undeniable, so too are the rewards. The sense of accomplishment that comes from overcoming obstacles, the thrill of reaching new heights, and the satisfaction of achieving personal goals. The freedom to think independently, to explore new ideas, and to rediscover one's own voice. It is a liberation that allows for personal growth and self-discovery, the joy of authentic connection, the warmth of genuine relationships, and the comfort of knowing that you are surrounded by people who truly care about you, and the opportunity to live a life true to oneself. It is a chance to embrace your individuality, to celebrate your uniqueness, and to pursue your passions without fear or restriction. For those still trapped within the confines of this organization, remember that there is hope beyond the barbed wire fences and the watchful eyes. There is a world beyond the walls, a world filled with hope and promise. There is a world waiting to embrace you, a world where you can find peace and belonging, where you can build a new life filled with joy and fulfillment. A world where you are free to think, to love, and to express yourself without fear of judgment or retribution, and to be who you truly are. Embrace the journey, for it is one of hope, courage, and endless possibilities.